Hello. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ayodele-Bamisaiye of Dexteritas Professional Corporation. And I'm coming to you live from my offices here at Dexteritas, Flint Road, southeast of Calgary. We're just right across the road from the Heritage Professional Center, McLeod Trail. Yeah, so I'm getting started this morning, and I'm here to talk as usual. It's Finance Friday. If you haven't been here before, welcome. Good to see you. And today I just want to share a few thoughts about taxes. As I've been talking, this is tax season, right? I know I've focused a lot on taxes in Finance Friday the last little while. And that's because it's tax season, tax returns to be filed, and I'm busy filing those literally every day. And I'm great I get the opportunity to do that, right? To advise clients, to support them, to help them get some very juicy refunds, right? Yeah, provide advice that allows them to take action to do that. So we're going to talk about one of those things that I find particularly interesting, and that is what happens when you can't pay, right? That's what I'm talking about today. What happens when you can't pay your taxes? April 30 is not far away. It's just 26 days away. That's about just a little bit less than 4 weeks, right? That's how much time you have left to pay your taxes if you are owing. So what happens when you can't pay, right? You owe the CRA, therefore you owe the government of Canada, therefore you owe King Charles. That's a very significant creditor there. And you want to make sure that there is a plan to take care of that. So how do we go about it? Before I go further, I want to thank my friends at the FBI for the amazing work they are doing. Tax Clinic has been awesome. We've been able to reach numbers that we haven't expected yet, but I'm not saying anything about those numbers. I let the FBI people talk about it themselves. But thank you to everyone that has used the service. It's been an amazing opportunity to be able to be out there and to serve, and to help people be able to take advantage of opportunities available to them in terms of benefits and all of that. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say as far as the FBI Tax Clinic is concerned. Now, what happens when you can't pay? Before we reach what's the deadline? The deadline to pay your personal taxes up is April 30. And it's a weekday, so the expectation is that by that day, close of business, worst case midnight, the money is in the hands of the government. Now, what happens when you can't pay? The CRA will charge you a bunch of bills. Number one on them is the interest. There will be an interest payment due from that day on, and it's 5% plus 1% per month if you file late, right? So that will happen to you as a late filing penalty. 5% of what is due is a late filing penalty, is the late payment penalty. Then if you file late, there's an incremental 1% on top of that. So that's something to be aware of. Now, you also have interest. So for every day that the tax bill remains unpaid, the interest on it begins to compound for every day. So it's daily compounding. So even though you checked, on the 1st, and then you checked on the 15th, and it still shows the same amount, it's because the record hasn't been updated. Because at the end of the month, it's going to update with the newest interest calculation. So every day that you do not pay, the amount is compounding daily. So first things first, it's good to file on time. So filing deadline is April for most people with employment income. For everyone, payment deadline is April 30. 30th of April is the day. Don't forget that. Let's keep that in mind. Now, filing deadline for self-employed individuals is June 15. But even though you have more time to file, you are still expected to have settled the entirety of your bill by the 30th of April. So this year, 30th of April, 2025. If you can't pay right away, what do? Number one, file anyway. So even if you don't have the money, file the return. That's number one. You must do that. You must file that return. Even if you do not have the money to pay, make sure you file that return. Make sure you file that return on time. At least you get points. You save yourself from the penalty for the late filing penalty, right? That's the first thing. Number two, make a partial payment. So if you owe $100 and you have 10, pay $10. Pay $190, $50, whatever. Pay something. Don't stand aloof. Don't pretend you're not aware. Don't act like you don't have a bill to pay. Pay something. Put something into the pot. Let there be clear willingness on your part to pay. Let it be that I don't have the money, but what I have paid already. And what that does for you is, one, it registers an intent to pay. Two, it begins to reduce your interest, because once you pay something, the balance on which the interest is compounding daily reduces. That means future interest is reduced. Number three, you can choose to contact the CRA to make a payment arrangement. Now, sometimes this can be a bit of an onerous process where you have to prove that you really don't have the money. And sometimes it will just be a simple phone call where you say, oh, you know what, I owe $600. I can't pay all of it immediately. However, I can pay $200 now. Can I pay the remaining $300, $100 monthly for the next 3 months? And you have a phone conversation and a gentleman's handshake happens, and then that happens, right? And I also want to say that the CRA may not necessarily call you on the 2nd of May to say, hey, you're owing, you haven't paid. They'll definitely give you some time. So my own advice to you as a professional is start paying. Either way, just pay what you have, start paying. Don't ignore the bill. Don't act as if it does not exist. That will not be in your favor. Now, in terms of getting into a payment arrangement, the CRA does allow monthly payments. They are also amenable to you paying based on your paycheck, right? So what are the things that you can do if you want to apply for a payment arrangement or some kind of relief? There's actually a form for that. It's the RC 4288, RC 4288, and that is a form that you can use to apply for relief, right? And that would be applicable under exceptional circumstances like illness or job loss or financial hardship. It's going to take some time for you to prove that. So if it's not a lot of money, just start paying little by little. And of course, you may require the support of an accountant to be able to prove some of these things, to complete this form, to get this documentation done, which costs you more money. So therefore, what you want to do is start to pay that bill. The less you owe, the better off you are, okay? Now, what I can do for you if we get into that situation where you are applying for relief is I'm able to better help you explain your situation in a way that speaks to the challenges that the CRA has with you being unable to pay. And then we also may be able to help you negotiate a plan that is workable for you based on your financial situation. Please note, interest and penalties just continue to stack up as long as the bill remains unpaid. So we may be able to help you avoid some of that by managing the payment process, managing it in a way that the interest and penalties don't stack up, unnecessarily. So my first advice anyway is start paying. Whatever happens, just start paying. What are common mistakes to avoid? Number one, please, from time to time, even if it's once every 3 months, sign into your CRM account and check out what's going there. Just in case there's a letter that's not advising you about GST credit or Canada carbon rebates or your notice of assessment. It may actually be a review letter saying, we have reassessed your tax return and we require you to pay XYZ because we can't find this information. I have clients who have not done that and they found themselves having to pay back and then request a reassessment because not only did they have the information the CRA requested, they were not required to pay the tax bill. But because they did not respond on time, the first thing was to first pay the tax bill to stop the bleed on interest and penalties and then provide the evidence. So because you don't want to find yourself in that situation, kindly sign into your CRM account once every quarter, worst case. preferably monthly. Just make sure that there's nothing going on there. And it's not going to take a long time. It's just another email box that you have to maintain, right? Waiting too long to act. Yeah, this is a real problem, right? You see the letter, you don't do anything. You just freeze and you hold it there. A month, 2 months, 3 months, not good. Not good. So what do you want to do? If you see a letter from the CRA and you don't understand it, you can reach out to an accountant to explain, or you can call the CRA and say, hey, I saw this number, I got this letter, what exactly is expected of me? And if you can respond right away. If you can't respond and you need the support of a professional like myself, kindly reach out to us. We are more than happy to support you, to help you to get that addressed. Number 3 error I see people make is not filing because you can't pay. What the CRA will do is they will do nothing. But if your tax return was due on the 30th of April and you file 2 years later and you are owing $10, you will suddenly find yourself owing the $10 plus the interest and penalties associated with not filing and not paying for the last 2 years. So it only gets worse. So please, if you have whatever you've done, whether you have income or not, make sure you file your tax returns by April 30. End of story. Now, this last one goes out to all my business owner, sole proprietorship, entrepreneur types out there. Not saying setting aside money for your tax bill. Hello. When you make money, you earn an income from which you pay your expenses. One of those expenses is your tax bill. So think about the income as it's coming in and begin to set some money aside for taxes. It's in your interest to do so, and it will help you on the long term to be able to be in good standing and protect yourself. Now, one thing that we don't want to have to experience is the situation where your money is garnished. You've heard of some of us may have heard of the term garnishment, right? That's a situation where the CRA calls your bank and says, hey, no more transactions happen on this account until we say so. So you sign into your online banking. Yes, you can still get in there. And yes, maybe your money may still be there, or they may have requested your employer to begin to send a certain amount of your check to the CRA every payday. Now, you don't want to be in that situation, and that's why you want to engage the CRA sooner rather than later. So if you are in a situation where you've been owing for a while and you've been quiet, call. If you find yourself where you know that by April 30, you will not be able to pay what your accountant says you owe, and you will be owing, call. The earlier you have that conversation and get into an arrangement with the Canada Revenue Agency, the better for you. So that's pretty much all I have for you today. It's been an exciting morning. There's lots of work to do here at our offices at Dexteritas. I'm excited that the FAI's tax clinic is running out of here today. We're looking to serve as many people as come by here that are within the low modest income bracket. And this is a message I'll leave you with. Whether you are owing or not, file your tax returns on time. Number 2, if you find yourself in a situation where you are owing, kindly reach out to the CRA to make a plan or request some time, or actually fill the RC 4288 to ask for relief. And if you think things have gotten out of hand and you really don't know what to do, then you can reach out to us here at Dexteritas, 587-287-4148, or you can request a consultation, discoverycall.dexteritas.ca. And I'm happy to have a conversation on how we can support you in these difficult times. The goal is to ensure that you do not find yourself in financial hardship as a result of taxes. So let's get the advice we need. Let's get the information that we need to do what is right. So don't panic. Don't lose your head. Let's talk about it. We're happy to support you. With that, that's all I got this Friday morning. I wish you an awesome day. The sun's shining here. Calgary is beautiful like that. 2 days ago, the sun was shining. Last night, into yesterday, there was a snow dump. Then to yesterday, the weather was nice. And it seems it's nice out again today. So, hey, happy to live here. Happy to experience it. They call it sprinter. They call it false spring, whatever. We're in the middle of it right now and enjoying it. So have a great weekend ahead. Happy Friday to you, and remain fabulous on this Friday. Take care and bye.